Hey everyone, welcome back to Control. Last time, we started to get a look at what the Bureau knows about the ordinary AWE. Jesse lived through it, but now we're finally getting to see it from the Bureau's perspective. So let's go ahead and find out just how much they really know. They certainly do have a lot of documents about it, and this is the last one. So it looks like the Bureau, as a whole, does know about Polaris, but hasn't confirmed her existence. And here we can see a little bit more of how what went on inside the slides in the projector affected the outside world.
Let's see what they have on Ordinary. It's all here. Our home, our school, the woods, the dump.
Yeah, they built a whole model of Ordinary. And to be honest, I don't know what the significance of that one red building is. They certainly highlighted it. Probably that's Jesse's old house, but they never really make it clear. And the model's exceptionally flimsy. We can see marks on the ground for where the different stages took place. Couple of buildings outlined in red. And this would presumably be the dump where they found the projector. Tell you the truth, I was actually kind of expecting there to be a fight here, but I don't mind. Gives me a chance to loot the place. Don't see anything up on the shelves there. There's another document. And there you go, all the adults disappeared for some reason. And again, the description of the bullies killing the teacher reminds me a lot of some specific Stephen King stories. Sometimes they come back, for example. But enough about that. Let's move on and see what else they've got. Yep, here's the fight I was expecting. Fortunately, we can throw all these different parts of the model around and make short work of a lot of these enemies. Yeah, my melee would probably be a lot more effective if I ever leveled it up.
In the dump outside town. Did they recreate that too? Is that where they keep it?
Yep, so there's another section dedicated to just the dump site. And of course, that being ground zero for the whole thing, that's where the most illuminating information is undoubtedly going to be.
You mentioned a poem last time we talked. By Thomas Zane?
Yes. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there's a miracle illuminated.
I looked the poem up. Only I couldn't find any poet by that name. I did find a European filmmaker who moved here in the 60s, named Thomas Zane.
What? I don't...
No matter. It suits you very well. The poem. How you see things. Maybe you wrote it yourself?
I didn't.
No matter. You've said a few times that you feel like there's a piece of you missing. Can we talk about that?
Okay. Yeah, it's this... I feel an emptiness, a yearning for something that I think I lost.
It's natural for you to feel that way. Your brother and your parents are dead.
No! No. Dylan's not dead. And that's not even it.
You're referring to the imaginary friend from your childhood?
Polaris. She's come back. After a long time, she's calling me. In a dream I saw, she showed me things.
Jesse.
It felt more real than anything. As real as what happened in Ordinary.
The industrial accident in your hometown? That you believe Polaris caused?
No, it wasn't an accident. There was no industrial accident, and Polaris didn't cause it. She saved me and Dylan.
Jesse...
No! It was a cover-up. The government knows about it. There were agents there. Agents from... I don't know exactly, but they took Dylan. I'll find them. I won't stop looking. Polaris wants me to go to New York. There's a building there. I have to leave soon. I have to be there at a very specific time. Something hugely important is going to happen.
Jesse, you know we can't let you go until you're well. And that begins by understanding what's real and what's imagined.
So, Thomas Zane was a reference to the earlier game Alan Wake, a writer who wrote himself out of existence to undo the problems that he had caused. And I know a lot of people have been saying that this psychiatrist has no connection to the Bureau and was just trying to gaslight Jesse, but I don't buy it. I still think she is, if not an agent, she's working somehow alongside the Bureau to try to convince Jesse of something. And it sounds like they actually brought the dump here to investigate it.
They moved the whole landfill here in the middle of New York, and nobody saw a thing. Pretty unbelievable.
It's those tunnels. But for some reason, it looks like Dr. Darling suspended the investigation of the dump. Guess we're gonna have to look around to try to find out more. Yeah, we read about the globe much earlier. Looks like the Bureau disappeared the guy who had it. And here's a fight that I remember being very difficult. Yeah, not dealing with the Bureau alert. Want to take out the Healy guy, and fighting from up here seems to be the most effective way to proceed, but you do have to keep watching to your left to make sure that those Hiss Charged haven't made their way up the staircase. And I think I just saw a sniper taking a bead at me. But it might just have been a trick of the light. There we go. I finally managed to make use of that power. And I really don't know what happened to the Hiss-charged pathfinding there. Normally, if you're up top, they will just make their way over to the staircase and come after you. Those two seemed kinda confused. Need to keep moving, use some cover in case the Hiss elevated there tries to throw stuff at me. And make sure that the Hiss Charge don't get too close. Suppose I can take them out now that I've got a bit of breathing room. And a bunch of healing. That's nice.
We should check that lab.
That was a lot easier than I remembered. Or I finally found a strategy that worked. Seems like there should be something else to find down here. At least before I go into the dump proper. But no, it looks like it's just a big collection of monitoring equipment. There's something in this car. It's an Old Gods of Asgard album cover. Another Alan Wake reference. It feels like there ought to be something at the top of one of these giant piles of garbage, but I don't think there actually is. Maybe that one. But yeah, this is the item chest you knew had to be up here in the rafters. And more launch efficiency. I have to throw away so many of those. Yeah, there's an invisible ceiling. Can't get any higher than that even if there were something up there to get. And that's the lab, but I'm pretty sure there should be one other thing behind it somewhere. They built it on top of the garbage. And then kinda buried that stuff. Alright, into the lab to see what they've actually got. No slide projector, but there is a computer with something on it.
Effective immediately. I'm setting up a new department. Dimensional research in the research sector. Transferring the slide projector there. That's where my focus will be now. The ordinary site remains as is. We'll be back to... I don't know when.
Darling took the projector to the research sector. He dedicated a whole area to it, so he knew it was important. Dimensional research. That's where we go next.
We just got a whole bunch of stuff. And this mission, A Dark Place, becomes available. That's the second DLC, where we actually get to go to the investigation sector and find out what all is there. I'm gonna save that for quite some time. It is a 2D texture. I mean, there are some actual objects in here, but at a couple places you can tell it's just a texture over a floor somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't look like there's anything else for me to actually find here. Same ceiling as we had on the other side, so we'll get out of here. And there is a convenient shortcut over in this direction at least. Yeah, I thought I was leaving some stuff behind. I have no space for weapon mods. Alright, time for some rapid maintenance. I've got a bunch of duplicates of stuff that I really don't need. And we're right back to the turntable. So, a bit more flashing out of the astral spike there. Hopefully not going to be much of an issue. We can head straight back to the control point and start making our way to dimensional research, which we know to be at the far end of the ashtray maze. So, yeah, we're finally going to get to the bottom of that mystery. And I can at last upgrade Shatter. I'm gonna need to get another untapped potential to get it to the highest level. Not sure where some of that floating debris came from. So we still can't get into the Sterling AWE area. That's going to be closed off until we've got a reason to go there. So let's head on back to Central Executive and find out what all is going on. Although it would be really nice to get those last couple of upgrade items that we need. I think I was just short of remote thoughts. So I want to see if I can find anything in here. I remember what it was that I was doing here. I only needed to defeat one more demolitions expert with charge in the containment sector. So I want to clear that off my plate now that I'm not going to be coming back to containment for a while. If a demolitions expert would kindly show up among all these enemies. Hey, I saw a rocket go by. It's gotta be a demolitions expert. And there they are. Got him. Okay, I can claim that reward, finally. And they're giving me a mission that is specific to expeditions, those jukebox missions. I'm thinking his snipers are probably more likely than anything else to appear. I do want to head back to maintenance one last time, though, because this is, finally, no kidding, the last opportunity that we're going to have to get one of Ahti's missions. Oh, and there's a hotline call. We got this when we watched that Darling video. So I don't really know what they were trying to warn me against there. You know, they're the ones that brought up the former. We fought it, but that was quite some time ago. And, you know, I certainly hadn't heard anything about a rebel faction. And fake news is just way too prophetic an expression. There it is, the last mission.
More of it. This thing is completely leaving from the mitten. Perkele. Saatana. Helvetin helvetti. Loma tulossa ja tällaista paskaa.
So we've just got to go clear out some more mold, and it is even in this sector. That area way above the coolant pumps that we couldn't get to until we had levitation. It's not too far from here. You can just walk directly there. Save a bit of loading screen anyway. Oh yeah, the Hiss node mission. I haven't died since I got that. And I might be able to score some headshots. So even though this is one that I've done before, it is at least a nice simple one, and I can just levitate up to the upper part of the power plant. I don't need to transport there or go find an elevator. And I've just got to find the nodes and blast them. And one shot from Pierce covers it quite nicely. Which is fortunate, because that's the weapon I gotta use here too. Yeah, hide behind the thing you're supposed to protect. That's a good idea. These guys are simple enough. I've got plenty of time to aim. Not that it always helps. This is one of my favorite weapons the first time I played through the game. You know, this and grip were pretty much the two that I always had equipped. I like it a bit less now, because it is just so slow. But oh well. We completed the countermeasure, and it's just a matter of finding the rest of the nodes that we need. And killing these guys any old way, because I don't have any further specific missions involving them. I'm not even really paying attention to what I'm doing at this point. I'm sort of hurling things everywhere. I didn't see why that one didn't target that guy. I guess he just got out of its way before I threw it. Yeah, there's a node up there. And there should be one just behind me, I think. I was hoping to get high enough to get an angle on those guys, but not from there. Where he is? There it is. Don't even need to try to aim at some funny angle. I can just go right over there and splat it. You know what? I don't know if I really need to worry about those guys. They can't hurt me. I can't easily hurt them. So let's just see if I can remember which direction the coolant pumps are. Thinking it's over this way. Yep, there we go. NSC coolant pumps. And a whole bunch of hiss charged. Nothing I can't handle at this point. I think there might be one behind me. Oh, just one of those guys. At this point, I'm not even really sure that I stand to gain a whole lot from killing them. A little more experience, it's not doing me a whole lot of good right now. You might as well put something on Shatter. Projectile Choke is as good as anything else. It means I'll probably hit fewer targets, but anything that I do hit will take more damage because it gets hit by more of the projectiles. It makes sense to me. I don't remember there being anything out of the ordinary up there. At least nothing I can get to at the moment. Well, I can take a mission to kill a Hiss Distorted, or a mission to kill a Hiss Distorted in the executive sector. I think I've probably seen about as many Hiss Distorted in the executive sector as I'm ever going to, so as long as I kill one anywhere, I'll get credit. And here's the entrance to the upper path.
Mold's gotten in here too? Alright. Let's get cleaning, she said, cocking her gun.
Yeah, I remember some of the mold being particularly difficult to find here. And there's one over on the other side that'll be easier to handle once I actually get over there. You gotta look into every little nook and cranny here. That's not one. At least I think I remember where the one that everybody tends to miss will turn up. I can hear one nearby. Oh, there's one at least. Not sure how I didn't see it before. There's one. A lot of people miss that one because they're not looking towards the middle of the room. Kinda surprised that that was one. I thought that was just part of the background. Here's the one I saw earlier. The one-way door that we can't get to the other side of yet. And now that I've been over the whole room, I gotta go back and be a bit more thorough in my searching. We know that Ahti's voice has an effect on the mold, so perhaps bringing the radio with me will help. Yeah, it actually doesn't help, but... let's see what we can find. Back over in this corner, I heard something previously. And there we go. Finally I spot it. And at this point, I think it took me an embarrassingly long time to find the last one, so... make a little bit more of this pass here, and then skip ahead to when I actually figured out what I was looking for. The radio has said its piece. I made a couple more sweeps of the room. And then it was about that time that I figured... there's that hole up there. Never actually tried to go up into it. I know that's not where the mold is, but... you forget where stuff is, you start to get desperate after a while. But there is actually nothing up there. And I certainly don't want to fall all the way down, because I don't think there's a convenient way to get back up here without leaving the room. It is kind of strange to be seeing hiss at this point in this room. Especially after I've been in it for so long. I would have expected that if the hits were going to appear, they would have done it by now, but... there you go, I guess they figured I was just taking too long and they could get the jump on me while I'm looking everywhere for mold, except apparently for the one spot where there's mold. Yes, I know. I just saw it. The me of the past hasn't just seen it. But I will. Any moment now, I'll just happen to face the camera in the right direction and be looking at it.
That should slow it down.
Couple of ability points, not a bad reward. But more importantly, we've now finished all of Ahti's missions. So we'll head back to his office and claim the true reward for all of the cleanup that we've done. I'm not going to put it past the Hiss to appear just as I'm reveling in my triumph. They don't, but there's really nothing saying that they couldn't. Go back to the power plant one final time, and we're right around the corner from Ahti's office. Don't know whether there's anything way up at the very top of this shaft. Doesn't look like there is. That's alright. There's not really a whole lot left for me to find at this point.
I guess I just take a seat.
Yep. After all that work, we get a chance to sit down.
This is what being a janitor is all about. I suppose the janitor's assistant does need proper janitor attire.
I could have sworn Ahti would say something about this quest if we did it while he was still here. That's why I've been going out of my way to find it. Nope, nothing. I mean, you can do any of those quests later on, and he just won't be there to congratulate you, but I guess he doesn't congratulate you even so. Alright then. I've now got a ton of ability points to spend. Definitely going to get shield energy recovery. This makes the shield even more useful than it already was. And I suppose getting more levitation duration would be very useful. And I've left myself just short of the final, or previously final health and energy upgrades. Don't want to get the launch basic enemies skill yet. Seizing an additional enemy is always good, though. And alright, one final trip back to Central Executive to check out my new outfit. Yeah, this is what I want to wear when I go and clean up the final areas of the Bureau.
Do you remember Mr. Tomasi, the head of communications? The hiss he was changed into showed up in containment, near the turntable.
I'll take care of it. That thing's not getting away this time.
I've heard reports about his particular use of language and intonation when repeating the hiss babbling. The biological and behavioral distinctions between different hiss-corrupted individuals is truly fascinating. I wonder if I could categorize the data.
And she's already off on her own thing.
I should get going. Don't let me hold you up.
So there we go. We now have a reason to go into the Sterling AWE area.
See you later, Jesse.
And that's going to be the final main side quest of the game.
Protocols for every altered item or object of power with an audio-related effect.
I'll send a team to contact Langston and get that information, sir. If yes, why? What do we tell him?
Tell him that the hiss work through sound, so any countermeasures designed for similar altered items should be considered for field use.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Man, I never thought I'd be working in the executive sector. Look at me now, Ma.
I have to go.
Me too. You're not the only one who's busy, you know. Oh, where the fuck did Marshall go?
Well, speaking of being busy, we're gonna go take care of Tomasi and then start making our way toward the Ashtray Maze next time. See you then.